Yay. Oh, we're live. That was quick. Yay. And this morning we have special guest, Kim Thompson Pinder. And your last name is killing me because of the whole Go Giver Pindar, right? Pindar, right? Right. If you've read the Go Giver, you're going, what? Right. That's awesome. And it's funny. Yeah, let's start out because this is it's going to be live in Monday Morning Madness, which um, then they can see the replay there or on the site too. Okay.
Nice.
It was so funny because when I went in Bob Berg's thing, I've known Bob Berg for before he did the Go Giver. Actually, I was one of the proof or the pre-readers or whatever you call it, and pretty excited to do that because when I met him in let's see, in the Boston area when we were in NSA together at the National Speakers Association, he was at one of their meetings. So I knew him from endless referrals. I didn't really, so I was, anyway. So when he came out with this, there had been a lapse of me talking to him for some reason. And I think it's because I had a kid, and during the early years, I don't even know what happened. Like right at the beginning, well, I saw him probably when the kid was maybe 3 or 4, and then there was a period of time I just didn't see him for a while for whatever reason. And so it's funny when I got back in touch with him, asked him if he'd do this with me. I was afraid he wouldn't remember me, but he must have like the wickedest good memory ever.
I think he does.
Because he remembered the kid and my mother and everything. So, but yeah, and I didn't have blue hair there, so it was a little harder to remember. But anyway, so I go on his. I was talking to him about doing this, and he did it for me. And then we went in the Success. Right, the Success Alliance. He told me about it, and I went, "Oh my God, that's so awesome!" And what a good deal it is too. I think for a whole year. So, and then when we got on the first Rachel's there, I was like, he was saying all kind of nice stuff about me, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so embarrassing." And then you did too. Oh, thank you so much for doing that. You made my day that day, by the way. But now tell everybody how we know each other.
So we were in the same company together, and you spoke at the Canadian National event. And you came up with such wild and crazy ways to recruit. And I'm like, I like this lady. Like you had no hindrance about letting people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help people. And you shared with us so freely on all the different ways. And I emailed you after the event and just shared with you and thanked you and shared my situation at the time. And you told me something that completely changed my business in that email. See, because I had been feeling really down about myself and, because I wasn't in the business where I had wanted to be. And you shared with me the numbers. And I don't remember exactly what they were, but I think it was something like, you have to recruit, I think it was around 20 people. So you have to have 20 people on your team to find that one really good leader.
Oh yeah, that's still true today. Yeah, that's true.
So that really encouraged me because I realized I just did not have enough team members yet to find that leader who was going to want to recruit like I did.
We should probably say that because I haven't been saying that for a while. It's not that it's not true. It's that I think most people know it, and probably that's not true. But when you're in direct sales and network marketing, it's my experience that the way to find more leaders isn't necessarily to try to make the people on your team be leaders. It's to add more people, because about 1 in 20 will do, I say leadership, 1 in 20 will do leadership in a serious way. There'll be people that dabble in it, probably more than that, but the serious will be 1 in 20. So yes, thank you for for bringing that up, because I hadn't thought about that for a while, but that is so true.
And you've got all of your group members saying hello here. So
yeah, Penny's
Sue,
on, Tamra, yeah, and Kathy's
Marion.
on. Yay, Marion, Sue Ellen. Yay, Marion,
so nice
Penny.
to meet you all. So Lisa, would you be okay if I did my official introduction?
Please do.
All right, so I'm actually going to talk about this a little bit later in our discussion. So I'm going to give you the example first and then tell you why it's effective later. So I am Kim Thompson Pinder, the extraordinary word ninja. I'm Chief Visionary Officer of RTI Publishing. I'm an international best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and the host of the Author to Authority podcast. I work with entrepreneurs, professionals, speakers, coaches, those in network marketing and direct sales to help them ghostwrite and produce and publish their signature book that they use as a foundational marketing tool to build their business and gain instant authority.
I like the word ninja part. Word ninja. Word ninja. See, that's awesome. Hey, Marie, I see you there in Arizona. So, yeah, I think that's awesome. And you know what? I did books before that I was the only author of at the beginning when I was speaking. So I probably was working on your strategy, the author to authority part. So being an authority, I think I've done that and talked about that, but I didn't realize it had a name to it. How did you come up with the strategy and put it together like that?
Well, it started when I became an author. And I wasn't even in publishing yet. I became an author quite a few years before I became a publisher. We were both working in our company, and I wanted to find ways to train my team. See, because my time was valuable. And, trying sometimes to do the advanced training one-on-one wasn't working. And back then, they didn't really have Zoom. They didn't, communicating online wasn't easy. And doing things as a group was expensive. Your main option was GoToWebinar, and that was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, how can I convey training in a easy to digest way? So I thought of writing books, and they're actually still up on Amazon. I don't promote them often, but because your tribe is mostly network marketers and direct sellers, I wrote 3 or 4 books that help my team members to build their business. And what happened was as word got out, it just kind of spread, and a lot of people from the company actually downloaded the books. So the first book was 50 network marketing recruiting, 50 low cost or free ways to recruit people in your business. Now that book's about 10 years old, so a lot of it's probably outdated. Okay.
No, I don't know, because a lot of the stuff, I think people are making a mistake not continuing to do the old stuff.
Well, true.
They're thinking it's not relevant, and it usually is relevant.
But
so I bet it is.
But I can tell you there's no online stuff. So if you're looking for online strategy, that's not the book for it. The second book, which anybody can use, is How to Sell $10,795 a year in MLM. Now, for those of us in our company, $10,000, or at least in Canada, was the first level for our upper sellers tier.
Oh, okay. Like President's Club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote that book to show people how to sell it. And so I'll give you guys the formula, but if you want to buy the book, it's on Amazon. Just look up me, Kim Thompson Pinder. I'm the only Kim Thompson Pinder on there. But the formula is really simple. You take how many customers you have, you times it by how much on average they buy, and then you times that by how many times a year they purchase. And if you can increase one of those, you exponentially increase your business. If you increase more than one, you explode your business. And so I don't remember the exact formula. So I can't remember. I think it was like 25 customers times $40 times, I don't remember how many times a year. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've reviewed the book.
That's so true, though. There's only 3 ways, right, to make more sales: find more people to sell to, sell more to the people you do find.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, 2 ways, right? Right. There's only 2 ways to sell more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
But
Yeah.
but you can sell more in 2 different ways. You can increase their average order, or you can increase how many times in a year you're selling to them.
Oh, that's true too. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Right. So when you play with those numbers, you can come up with whatever total you want. So, if you want to go from, say, 10,000 in sales to 20,000, okay, you could double your customers. Well, that's going to add a lot more work. But you could maybe add another 5, 10 more customers on, which would be easy to manage, but then increase how much you're selling to them and how many times a year they're buying from you.
Yeah, that's all like levers on the machine.
Any one of those 3 can easily get you to 20,000 a year in sales.
Hey, look, Janet from Ireland's on. Janet! Who's my BFF. And then Gwen's on, and Cynthia from Wimber, Pennsylvania, and Rhonda's on from Philadelphia. So
I'd love to hear
everybody, and Sherry. What'd you say?
I'd love to hear their thoughts on this because, I don't talk much about this anymore because now I generally work with general entrepreneurs, professional speakers, and coaches, right? So, but those concepts ring true no matter what business you're in. That formula you can manipulate and use no matter where you are or what you do. So, think about that in terms of your business.
Well, a big emphasis that we've had at Monday Morning Madness is trying to get everybody on board with really thinking that your direct sales business is a business. It's not right. So everything that would apply to a regular business does apply to us. It's a regular business. So you are a retailer, and the company that you rep for, or companies, sometimes you have more than one, I do more than one, then those are your wholesalers and you're a retailer. So those things do apply.
Well, you want me to talk about authority marketing today. So let me share some thoughts, because I actually had a conversation about 2 weeks ago. I was doing a event where I had an online vendor's booth, and someone came in who was in network marketing. And so we had like this really long discussion on her business. And because, I had been in network marketing and direct sales for so long, I understand it well. It's not what I currently do, but doesn't mean I still can't teach and train on it. And one of the things I talked to her about was not leading with her company. And the reason for that is, first of all, people have preconceived notions about the company that you work for, whether good or bad. They're there. And so when you want to build a business, one of the things I loved about you, Lisa, was you were your own brand. Yes, we worked for the same company. I knew that, but I wasn't attracted to you because we worked in the same company. I attracted to you because you stood out beyond the company brand, right? You had your own brand, but the company and the products and the opportunity were the tools that you used in your brand to help people achieve the goals that they want. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you guys about in terms of authority marketing, is creating a brand around you. And now, back when I wrote those books, I just wrote the books to be helpful. I figured I'd make a few dollars on the sales of the books. I wasn't expecting, to sell millions, but if it helped people, that was my main goal. If I made a few bucks, then I was happy, right? For all the year of frustration it took me in figuring out how to write a book, a few dollars back would be nice. But what I didn't realize would happen is I attended after, I had written 2 or 3 of the books. The other book I wrote was MLM Mindset Minutes. So it's like a 31-day devotional, and just covers different things, different mindsets that network marketers have. And, how do you improve your mindset around your business? So I remember going to my provincial conference, And people knew I was coming, so they had asked if I could bring copies of the books. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. You have to pay me for those. Like a lot of the electronic files I just gave away. I didn't care. Or if they purchased on Amazon, I kept the prices really low. But if I was bringing printing books, I have to pay for that. So they were. And I get to the conference and I'm standing in line to register. And all of a sudden I am surrounded by people. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, are you the lady who wrote the books? And I'm like, yeah. And because they'd seen me posting on social media and in the different groups in our company, that weekend, I was surrounded most of the weekend by people asking me questions, wanting the books. All of a sudden, my knowledge hadn't changed. But because I wrote those books, how people saw me did. And so I want to encourage all of you to think of yourself as that credible expert, whether it's a product, like our company sells many diverse product lines, and they've really expanded out in the last year or so. I've been really impressed. So you can pick a product line. So whether it be makeup, skincare, whether it would be the environmentally friendly products that we now sell, whether it be the clothing, right? So pick out what your specialty is and build the brand around that.
But it could also be like a strategy, like mine was marketing, and I know somebody else that's their specific focus is on fundraising. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a product. It could be a strategy. That way, if something, heaven forbid, happened to the company, you could take that knowledge to another company and still be the expert.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a product line.
No,
right?
True. But sometimes if you're newer to this, sometimes it's easier to become a specialist in a specific product group. One of the things that I specialized in, because I had been in a couple of companies before the company we were in together, specialized in skincare. So when I came into our company, that's where I specialized, because that's where I had a lot of knowledge, right?
Oh, nice.
So it doesn't have to be, but the thing is because I already knew a lot about skincare, I just brought that in from other places. So even if when I left our current company, if I went to another and they sold skincare,
that would work. Yeah.
But like you said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a product, but a product line is usually the easiest place to start and gain expertise in. Like marketing is a big field, right?
Right.
Fundraising is a big field. So, if you're newer to this, then, maybe focusing on makeup or focusing on skincare. I never focused on makeup because I'm not a makeup person. I am a skincare person, right? So I knew how to really give expertise on skincare. And I studied it. I watched videos on it. I learned about skincare and the basics and, why do we have different skincare for different skin types and what different things do. Like when I started in our company, hyaluronic acid first came out. So, I learned about that and what it did and, because people had questions. So I became that expert in that specific area. Now, here's the thing. Once you gain expertise in a specific area and you become known for it, when you talk about other areas, people still respect you and listen to you.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Right? So,
the only bad part is people think that you know something about the other areas.
Well, here's the thing. I don't believe in pretending.
Right.
So if a customer asks me a question about a product and I did not know the answer, I was honest with them. I'm like, you know what? That's not something I really know about, but let me go research it. Let me go do some research. Let me contact my company. Let me find out some more information and I'll share with you what I've learned.
It was just funny. I've had the experience a lot where I was asked to come speak. They know my topic is leadership or marketing, one of those two. And they would say, instead of talking about leadership, would you mind talking about fundraising? And I'd be like, I don't know anything about that. That always used to make me laugh, because just because I know something about one thing does not necessarily mean I'm good about the other one. But yeah, it is funny.
So
I interrupted you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm bad about that. Squirrel. Oh, I'm bad about that. Yeah. So when you're talking about these all these business owners that are direct sales network marketers, as far as a book could help them, do you think it should be a book more about their story, or like a product in particular? Or how because like I was just doing, that's why I picked marketing. My first book was Marketing Ideas for the Wild at Heart, and it was just 30 ideas or whatever it was that I used to promote my business. So how would you do it where, like, for example, if it was a company that sold skincare and skincare was your thing, do you do the book on that, or what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, you have to kind of decide where you want to specialize. When I wrote the books, I was doing them more to help, but they actually became a tool where people trusted me as a leader because it demonstrated that I knew how to teach them how to run a business. So for me, my focus, even though I was in this top selling tier of our company, my focus was on building the leadership, on the recruiting, on the building the team, the residual income. So when I wrote the books, even though I wrote them to be helpful, what it did is it positioned me as that go-to person on how to build a team. So decide. Now, every book should have your story in it. Not your full life story, but a story in it. A story that relates to what your book is about. So, let's say it's skincare. Your story could be about, how skincare has changed your life, how skincare has improved your appearance, how skincare has made you personally feel better about yourself. Right? So your story is what creates the relationship in the book. If you write a book, whether a mini book or a large book. So this book here, a few years ago, I just decided, sorry, this is reversed on the camera. A few years ago, I decided that I just wanted to write a fun book. I just got it in my brain. So I wrote this in probably a few days because, when you're the word ninja and you write thousands of words a day and you're writing your own words, it's pretty easy. But, it's less than 100 pages. It was just 31 productivity hacks for the busy entrepreneur. Now, unfortunately, this is not available on Amazon. This is a book that I give away, when I do teachings and trainings and webinars and seminars. It's a giveaway book. But I will make a deal with you guys because I want to thank Lisa and you guys for all being on here today. If you PM me on Facebook, I'm Kim Thompson Pinder. I'm the only Kim Thompson Pinder. Okay. Try to find my profile because if you do it off of my pages, sometimes I don't get those messages. But, find my profile, friend request me. And if you PM me, I will send you an electronic copy of the book. But in the book, one of the things that I talk about is all the ways I've learned how to be unproductive. Right? I've worked at home most of my life. And so I was the queen of unproductive. I was the queen of procrastination, right? So this book here was just all the ways that I've learned, how to get productive. And so I'll share a few of them here if you guys want. Tackle your most dreaded task before lunch. Get it done and off your plate. Create systems, eliminate distractions. My favorite one is take shorter showers or not. So that one I divide into two categories. So I would be what's called a creative entrepreneur, right? I create things. And so shower time for me, I actually take longer showers. Because when I get into the shower and I'm relaxed and my brain is relaxed, all of a sudden all this amazing stuff comes. I'm almost at the point where I have to keep like a notepad and pen because the thoughts just start flowing. And I've either got to hold on to them. A few weeks ago, before my youngest moved out, I had this really amazing headline come to me, or book title. It was one of those two. And I thought, oh, I cannot lose this. So I'm like, Deborah, get in here. And she's like, what, Mom? I'm like, bring me a pen and paper, like right now. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, just do it, right? So she comes and I'm like, okay, I want you to write this down for me and then put it on my desk. She's like, you pulled me away from my television show for this? And I'm like, yes. So, you take, for me, longer showers allow that creativity to flow. And I usually, unless I'm heading out, in the morning or late morning, if I'm home all day, I don't usually take a shower till mid-afternoon. Why? Because I'm up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I start working then. By 1, 2 o'clock, I've been 8 hours. I'm tired. I need a break. I need to refresh. So that gets my juices going again. But if you're not in some sort of creative whatever, you can gain, depending on how long your showers are, you can gain an hour a week of work time by cutting back your shower time. So if you take a 20-minute shower, and you don't need to take a 20-minute shower, but you take a 20-minute shower because you love a 20-minute shower, if you cut that back to 10 minutes, right, you get an extra hour of work time a week.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Hey, you know what I wanted to add here is I want, you can tell me whether you agree with this or not, but when I did the books at the beginning that I authored myself, lately I've done more co-authoring with other people, but at the beginning, people would say this isn't professional looking enough, or I didn't. In fact, I had one person out of all the ones I sold find my errors in it, as far as I had a couple spelling errors and a couple grammar errors or whatever. To me, it's always more important to get it out there. I can, in the next printing, I can fix it. But I've seen so many people talk about doing a book and never actually do it because it wasn't perfect enough for them. And to me, doing it is more important than being perfect with it. I gave that person that complained their money back and moved on with my life. And that particular book, it was Marketing Ideas for the Wild at Heart, the first one. I ended up selling 7,000 of those, which that's not a lot, but it's plenty. That's plenty. So if I had waited till it was perfect, or I had an editor, that one I actually didn't have it published. What I did was I just had a copy place, copy it, and I had it spiral bound by them. Mm-hmm. And I did that for 7 printings because I used to do 1,000 a whack. So I would say if anybody's listening to that is thinking about doing this, just do it. Start doing it, get it done, and you can always go back and edit it or do it something different on the second run. I think it's always going to be more important to get it out there.
I slightly disagree with you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Your book is your first impression. Now, I agree with you that it doesn't have to be perfect, because to be honest, no book will ever be perfect. Did you know between Canada, the US, the UK, and Australia, there's at least 6 to 10 different forms of grammar? There's 2 to 3 each in Canada and the US. So how do you ever get perfect, even grammatically? You can't. Okay.
Right.
So, but I believe editing is important. Okay. If there's things that you're going to invest money in terms of your book, editing, formatting, and cover design are the 3. Okay. Editing being the most important. Formatting and cover design. Now, the reason why is because people will judge you by those 3 things. If the grammar is really bad. Now, if you've got a pretty decent grammar and all that, you may only need to pay someone just to kind of proofread grammar check, right? But if you're not a good writer, then you want an editor.
And that's what you do. That's what you do, right?
I do.
Right.
So you want that editing done. Okay. The other 2, cover, because people will buy the book based on the cover. So, yes, I realize this is an investment of money and it may be something you have to save up for, but get the best cover that you can with the money that you had. back when I started, I did not have money to do cover designers. So what I did is I Googled Kindle templates, and there was a lot of them, and you could buy the template, and, you know, with a little bit of, you know, knowledge, which I had to learn because I didn't even have that. I learned how to adjust template covers. Okay. Were they great? No, but they were a whole lot better than anything I could design myself, because even though I'm wonderfully, incredibly creative, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. But on a computer. So, so, you know, there are cheaper ways around it, but you want to get the best cover you can. And then formatting. So here's the thing. If your formatting is not done well, now, here's an amazing thing. Most of my books are actually, all of our books at RTI Publishing are formatted in Microsoft Word. And it's not as difficult as you think to get a good, clean format in Microsoft Word. And the reason we use Microsoft Word is really easy. You know, when those little mistakes are found later on, we just go in, we correct them in Word, and we re-upload the book. And you're done. Right? It's quick, it's simple, done, upload it. You know, the changes are made in 24 hours. Your book is updated. Right? So, you know, those are three things, if you do not know how to do yourself, that's where I would invest money. Now, when I first started writing books, I was incredibly blessed to have a best friend who was an English major. And so she became my editor. She's still my editor today. She's also the manager of RTI Publishing. So, you know, you don't always even have to pay for editing. You know, find that friend, find that family member who loves English, and let them tear your book apart, and don't take it personally, because they're going to make that book better.
Now, one thing, how do you feel about the fact, to me, you need to know who's going to buy it too. Before, right? Because it doesn't even matter if a publishing house publishes it, you're still responsible as the author to find the customers. And I think that's a misinformation that's been out there. Yeah. If you find a publisher, they don't sell it for you, they fill orders for you. So you still have to find the customers. So you still have to build your brand.
Yep.
And know who's going to buy it from you.
And that's the thing. That's why self-publishing has become so popular, because traditional publishers may pay you 5 to 6%. So they're taking 90 to 95%. Like, and if you got 10% on a book, you're a major author, right? First of all, it's very hard to get accepted by a publisher. Second of all, they pay you very little. And third of all, you got to do your own marketing, get your own customers anyway. So my opinion is if you have to do all that, why not be making the 70% that you make on Amazon and self-publish the book? If you have to learn how to market, then learn how to market and make your own money back.
Yeah. No, I agree. I did the most of mine in when I was speaking. I sold it back the room. It wasn't till later when I was doing other projects. Like I did a project I'm not sure if you heard of called A View from the Top. It was a 3-book set. Yeah, the 3-book set, and there's I think 63 co-authors total across the 3 books. But we did that with a publisher that had editing and all that stuff, and that one was a little bit different, where I already had the list of people who bought from my other books, and we were able to market on social media. But we sold a ton of those books.
I bought it.
Oh, awesome.
Don't remember which one, but I bought one of them. So I remember that book.
And that was great. All of the reason at that point I liked it so much is because all 63 of the co-authors got to be authors. Mm-hmm. So they got to be co-authors, and then they got to feel what it's like to have that I'm an expert experience, because your story's in there, your tips are in there, and you can use the book. Even if the people don't read your chapter, it gives you more credibility. And I think it gives you credibility when you're recruiting for your company too.
Yes,
they say, oh my God, you wrote a book.
Yeah. And you are an author. So that is one of the ways I suggest that you become an author. And actually at RTI Publishing, we actually manage those projects for people. So I have clients that come to me and say, you know, I want to do a co-author book. and we managed the whole project from start to finish. And I'm actually been thinking of doing a series of books that are published by RTI Publishing that are co-author books. That's something that's in my game plan, probably for a little bit later this year. So if that's something you've thought of, if that's something you want to be a part of, then PM me and I'll put you on the list, because that's a very relatively inexpensive way. Now, some of these co-author books, they'll charge you $5,000-$10,000. Okay, I'm not planning on doing that. There's ways to do it that are cheaper, and obviously because we're doing them ourselves, I don't have to charge all these fancy fees for it. But that is a great way, is becoming part of a book.
I was surprised in View from the Top, though, that some of the co-authors didn't understand what to do with the books.
Well, that's because people didn't teach them.
No, they had access to being taught it. They just didn't take advantage of the teaching.
Yeah.
That was part of the package that we purchased being co-authors. So they had access to it, but they didn't. They somehow didn't make the connection between, like, for example, they thought this is only a handful of them, thought that the point was to sell the book to their own downline. No, you give the book to your own downline. You sell it to non-downline or give it to prospects. It's a calling card too.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an extended calling card. And how long do we got, Lisa? Because there's a couple demonstrations I want to do for the people here that are really
20 more minutes. We go to 1 hour, so it's 11.
Okay, so I got 2 demonstrations I can do today that will really help you. But I want to just show you this book. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Les Brown.
Oh yes, that's the daughter, right? Ona Brown?
Ona, yeah. I did her book like this. I managed this book project for her. This is like a series of
Awesome.
Of co-authors, right? So I have done a few different books. So I want to do 2 demonstrations for you today in the time that we have left, and hopefully you find them really valuable. So the first thing I want to teach and train you on is how to do a powerful introduction. Because I don't want you introducing yourself with your company. Please don't. Okay, the woman that came to me at that event, that's how she introduced herself, and it was so weak. And I was already buying products from that company, but even if I wasn't, I wouldn't buy them from her because her introduction was so weak. So when you introduce yourself, there's a few different ways to do it. There's 4 different ways to do it. And the 4th one actually ties into the second demonstration I want to do. So first, have an interesting title. Now, Lisa, I think when you introduced yourself, you had some sort of title that you used, and I can't remember what it was, but it really blew me away.
I'm glad, but I don't remember what it was.
But you had a kind of a strong introduction. Like when you came on that stage and you introduced yourself, it was strong. It immediately grabbed me.
But I usually say the company name, but I usually say it because our company is so known for people just earning pin money or little money. I usually say I'm the number 5 money earner in the United States for, right? Yes. And I looked at all the statistics till I could find one I was way up in. And that's what I use. But I do usually say the company name because I'm standing in front of the company car or something.
Well, yeah, and that's part of your marketing, and that's fine. But the focus isn't the company. The focus is your number 5.
Right. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So have that unique title. Come up with something that you specialize in. That's why I call myself the Extraordinary Word Ninja. People remember that. You will remember that I'm the Extraordinary Word Ninja. You may not remember my name, but if
I'm gonna.
But let's say that we come back and one of the people watching, we end up in some sort of networking group together, right? You're gonna look at me and you're gonna go, I don't remember her name, but you're that Extraordinary Word Ninja, aren't you? Yep. Right? So have that title that people remember you by. Don't introduce yourself by a title at all is the second way. Ask a question. So I always let people introduce themselves first, and I let them talk for as long as they want. And I ask questions and I gather information. Once I've gathered the information, I will ask them a targeted question. So you have to make up the questions yourself. Okay. I can't help you make up the questions, but come up with a targeted question that will direct the conversation around what you do. So if I was going to introduce myself to someone with a question and they told me they were an entrepreneur, maybe I already know that they may be struggling. I might ask them a question about authority marketing. I don't tell them that I'm in authority marketing, but I might say to them, have you ever heard of authority marketing and how it positions you? So I direct the conversation. Okay, second introduction. Third introduction is talking about who you work with, your target market, and how you help them. So the second part of my introduction that I do after all of my titles is I work with entrepreneurs, professionals, speakers, and coaches to help them ghostwrite, produce, and publish their signature book that they use as a foundational marketing tool to build their business and position them as the authority in their niche. You now know exactly who I serve and how I serve them and what I do with them. Right? So if you've already talked to a person when they've introduced themselves and you think they're already going to be a good client or customer, then just tell them that. I work with women who are over 40 to help them create a skincare routine that's easy to do and makes them look and feel fabulous. And I just came up with that off the top of the head. That's why I'm called the word ninja. Right? So you don't.
So you're selling the sizzle, the benefits to them more than the products itself.
Yeah. Because you see, the thing is that until a person trusts you, they're not going to want to buy your products.
Oh, that's the go-giver thing. That's why we both love Bob Burg. That's the go-giver thing. People buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Exactly. So don't lead off trying to sell your products and services. Lead off by giving value. Lead off by sharing your knowledge freely. One of the reasons why I was able to sell skincare so easily is I understood it, but I just shared the knowledge. I talked about skincare. I shared about skincare. People asked me questions. I answered them, and I didn't try to sell them product. I answered their questions. So people got to know, like, and trust me. So when I did recommend products, they're like, sure, I'll try it. Like, there was no fight. There was no objection. I already had a pretty good sense that they could afford it, right? Because the conversations we had. And then I demonstrated my knowledge and expertise. And when the time was right, I just said to them, okay, so, we've talked about this, been helpful. Here's some products for you that I recommend. And they're like, sure, yeah, I'll try it. And they hand me their credit card number, right?
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Nice.
So, build that like, trust, and know factor. Let them see that you're that expert first. And then use the product as the recommended product to achieve a result. So it's not about the company or the product. It's about your positioning. And then the product is the tool that helps the person get the result that you told them they could have.
Now, don't you think like the company that we're talking about, you could pick any product line in that company. You could do fashion, because I know somebody on my team that just does fashion. That's their whole thing. But you could do skincare, you could do makeup, you could do jewelry.
Yep.
Right? You could do anything. So I think you got to pick whatever floats your boat. Don't just pick something because everybody else is talking about it or because you think that's the way you should go. You want to pick something that you have some meaning and connection to, or you're not going to like it. You're not going to be good at being your thing, I think.
Like the person I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to get her to narrow down where in her product line. And she couldn't. She just kept going on. Well, there's this product and this product. And it was so weak because she couldn't even tell me what her favorite product was.
Oh.
She's like, they're all my favorite products. No, they're not all your favorite products.
Hey,
So
then you can't be an authority in the whole thing.
right. So
Really.
I couldn't get her to niche or niche down, however you say it. I mean, I say it both ways. Because she needed to specialize. Her company is a company that's relatively well known. So to stand out, she needs to specialize. And the same thing with the company that we work for. It's known. Now people either have a really good feeling about it or they do not have a good feeling about it. So don't put that out there right away because people will prejudge. And maybe they haven't seen a catalog in 15 years, but they knew what was sold 15 years ago and they decided they didn't like it.
And it doesn't even matter which category as long as you pick one.
Yes.
Right. Because I've seen people, matter of fact, the first half of my career in this company, selling wise, I sold tens of thousands of deodorant. Yeah. And that's not the most sexy, fabulous. Most people pick like makeup because it's sexy, fabulous or whatever. And deodorant is not sexy, fabulous, but the reason I picked that to specialize in when I was doing a lot more in sales is because I knew even in a bad economy, you have to be pretty bad off for you're not using deodorant. Most people will find a way. They'll find a way to afford deodorant.
Yeah, and when I was selling, I made sure that my clients, I tried to get them on skincare, but even if they didn't do skincare, I got them on the consumables. So, I got them onto the deodorant, I got them onto the soap, I got them onto the shampoo and the conditioner. I got them onto the body creams, right? And I would give them samples. Like our company had a couple of really iconic products. And so, I would try to get my clients on those iconic products because they worked. And once you do, once they're on a few, then you can start introducing them to some more. So every few months, what I would do is I'd introduce them to a new product. I'd either tell them about it, I'd give them some samples of it, I'd do some teaching and training on it, and then, ask them if they want to try it. And I kept my body language very casual. It's like I don't care if you buy it or not, but I'm just telling you, this is the new thing, and I keep my body language casual. And at the end, I just say, hey, do you want to try it? And about half said yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And half said no.
And it to me, when you're thinking about picking something to highlight too, you don't have to feel like you have to learn everything about all the products. I think brand new people get overwhelmed thinking that when they really, and there's nothing wrong with saying to a customer, gee, you know what? I don't know that. Let me look that up and get back to you. Or let me ask the company, or let me look online and get back to you on that. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if it is your specialty.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with not knowing it on the spot. You can get back to them, I think.
The important thing is you get back to them.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. And you can get back to them if you don't have an answer. There's a few times I could not find the answer to the question. So I get back to them. I said, you know what? I've tried looking everywhere. I can't find an answer. Here's what we can do. Right? Our company has an amazing money back guarantee. So since I can't really answer your question, you have one or two choices. You can try it. If you really don't like it or something happens, I promise you, I will come get it. I will give you your money back right away. Or you just choose not to try it. Either way is fine with me. But if you're really interested in the product, try it. Let's see what happens.
Oh, look at somebody said, I still run across a few men that don't wear deodorant. They say I like all natural. Yeah, are these single? Because their wife's not going to let them do that. They'll say I'm dumbfounded and don't know what to say, but to myself I say, ew. Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, matter of fact, I always make a joke because we have a product. I'll say the name of the product because I'm not going to say the name of the company, but it's called Wild Country, and it's a man's product line. And I always joke because I think men buy that not because of how it smells. I think they like saying it. They like saying, yeah, give me some Wild Country. Yeah, put that Wild Country right on my bill. Yeah, it's hilarious. They just want to, oh, I'm a macho Wild Country man. So that's funny. But anyway, yes.
I got
Go
one
ahead.
more demonstration for you.
Please.
So, how do you generate leads with your book? So let's say this is just a little book on skincare that I did up. All right. Maybe 20, 30 pages. Any local printer can print up books for you. You can do them like this is called perfect bound. You can do them spiral bound. Staples does spiral bound books. The prices are pretty good, at least here in Canada. So you can do a little booklet up. Okay. It doesn't have to be big. If it's skincare, you can have lots of pictures in there, whatever it is your specialty, but do not put product pictures and do not mention the company name. Okay, you will get slapped with legal stuff so fast because every company is trademarked. Their products are trademarked. Pictures of the products are trademarked. Okay, so use generic pictures. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, most companies
I've received
don't
a
like it.
couple of legal letters in the mail. It was kind of scary. So here's the thing. So let's say that you meet somebody. Always keep your book with you in your purse. I'm assuming we're talking to mostly women here, but even sometimes men carry bags. But just keep one really well-worn copy in your bag. And so you start talking to someone, you've listened to them, whatever. You can pull out as you're doing your introduction, you just pull out your book and you say, oh, by the way, I'm the author of the book on, skincare for women over 40. And it's hard to kind of do here on the camera, but you let them see the book and you hand it to them. And they'll take the book and they start flipping. They'll look at the table of contents and they'll just start flipping through the book. If they see something that catches their eyes, they'll stop and read. So while they're doing this, you are not saying anything. Don't say anything. Just let them. You're watching their body language. If they're smiling, if they're happy, if they're reading, let them. Okay? If they just kind of take a look at it and put it down by your side, you take it back and you just continue conversation whatever way it goes. But if they're really interested in the book, you say to them as you take it back from them, you have to take it back from them. You take it back from them and you say, would you like a copy of the book? Now you make sure it's well worn, well used, it's got Post-it notes sticking out of it, like make it a well-worn book. So as you take it back, you ask them, and there's a question here from Facebook user. Can you use any generic photo off of the internet? No, you cannot. There's lots of sites where you can pay for your pictures. You need to do that, and they need to be royalty-free. So look up royalty-free images on Google. The site that I use that has, really good pictures, and that is depositphotos.com. But again, you got to go read the terms and services and what you can use it for and what you can't use it for, how you can use it commercially. Okay, so just
give that again. Deposit photos.
Depositphotos.com or .net. I can't remember which one.
But if we Google search for royalty free.
Yeah, and then Deposit Photos is a good one. Their prices are pretty reasonable, and a lot of times they'll have 100 photos for $100.
Oh, that's cheap.
Dollar photo, yeah. So as you take the book back from them, you ask them if they want a copy. When they say yes, you say to them, you know what? This is my special copy. I don't carry a lot of copies with me. I mean, they just weigh a ton, right? But this is my special copy. This was the first copy, from the first box off the top. This is my personal copy. But, I'd love to send you one in the mail. Can you please give me your name, address, phone number, email address, all that kind of stuff? And you say it very casually. 95% of people will hand you that information if they're interested in the book and not even quibble about it. What have you done? You've just generated a lead. You also now have a reason to call that person back. That's non-salesy. So put the book in the mail. So this is why you want to have a conversation with them first, because you don't want to be sending out books to everyone. You want to qualify them as someone who's a good potential lead before you offer them the book, right? Because it costs you money to print the book and it costs you money to ship the book. So also thinner books are better. They cost less to ship. But you've now generated a lead and you now have a reason to call that person. So you send out the book. About a week later, you call them and you say, hey, it's Kim Thompson Pinder, the Extraordinary Word Ninja. Remember I met you at such and such event and you wanted a copy of my book. Well, I sent it out to you. I was just wondering, did you get it? Right? That's not salesy. That's like, I want to make sure that Canada Post and the United States Postal Service is doing the job I paid them to do, right? Like they're not wasting my money. So they'll say yes or no. Either way, the next question is where you start that conversation where you can share your knowledge. And you say to them, if they say yes, you're like, oh, have you read it yet? And they're like either yes or no. But either way, you'd kind of direct the question down to this one. You know, what was it about the book that kind of caught your attention in the first place? Or if they've read the book, you know, what have you read so far that really caught your attention? You know, I'm always interested in knowing, you know, where's my book being effective, right? I'm doing market research. The area that they struggle in or the area that they connect you in your book in is usually the area they're struggling in. So that gives you a clue where you can start sharing knowledge and value. And you can start talking about that specific area and share your knowledge and value freely. Now, towards the end of the call, you keep it short. You don't, you know, maybe 10 minutes tops, right? Because you don't have that relationship yet. But towards the end of the conversation, you can say to the person, you know, listen, we've been talking. And I've got some additional thoughts I want to share with you. I know, you know, I kind of caught you off guard today and I don't want to take up too much of your time. You know, could we book a time to talk? I've got some thoughts about whatever it is that I really want to share with you that I think are going to help you. And most people will say yes to a second phone call if they've liked what you've said and if you've provided value and you haven't been salesy. Now, in that second conversation, you share the thoughts with them, and then you start transitioning towards the sales part. And I don't have time to teach that all today. But that's a general overview of how do you take it from lead to qualified prospect, you know, to client customer. And it works whether it's, you know, about the opportunity, the financial opportunity, or whether about the products.
No, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Yay. You know, I've always liked even not just the book, but like even when I wrote a magazine article, I'd buy extras of the magazine. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember, but I got one of my cars with the company wrap on it on the front of a cover of a magazine, and that was it had to be in an online auction or something for a fundraiser. But I knew if I got on the cover, it would increase my authority of them thinking I know more about it. Yes,
I went out into the parking lot after that conference and found your vehicle.
Oh, that's nice.
And I took pictures of it. And my husband's like, you're not doing that. I'm like,
oh, yeah. See, I ran across that too, but my husband at the time, right, he said, I really wish you wouldn't wrap your car. And I said, oh, no, I'm sorry. That actually was a bulletin, not a survey. I'm wrapping the car. That wasn't, can I wrap my own car?
Well,
yeah, but I'm single now, so don't go by me. I'm single.
My husband and I've been married over 30 years. And at the time, there was no way we would have been able to come up with the money for it. And there was other things that were
those are desperate for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, here's the thing. My husband is incredibly supportive of all the businesses I did. When I was in the same company as you, he would come out to events with me. Normally, if I did day-long events, I'd go out in the morning, set up, but he knew by afternoon, early evening, I was exhausted. So he'd drive to the event, tear everything down for me. So,
wow, that's
the
awesome.
times when my husband said we can't invest in that, I needed submit's not the right word, but I needed to submit to that and respect my husband because he's always been so supportive.
Oh no, you don't have to explain to me. Don't forget, I'm single now.
No, but I want the ladies to know that sometimes when your husbands say no, you need to respect that, right? And maybe they need more time to think about it. My husband always needs more time. So if there's something I really want to do or I really need to invest in, that's going to cut into the family funds, I don't just present it to him once. I let him think about it for a while. We talk about it. And then if he says no, I let it sit for a while. And then if it's still really important back to me, I'll come back to it again. And after a couple times, he's like, this is really important to you, isn't it? Yeah. He's like, okay, I'll let you try it, right?
You know what's really awesome about being single is that it's not a democracy over here. It's a dictatorship. And
That's
the dictator's
true.
Me.
But
I'm sorry, that's so horrible.
My husband has worked at a job that he hasn't always liked for all of these years. And one of the reasons is so that he can financially support me and allow me to live my dream.
Nice.
And so how can I not respect when he says no?
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm not saying don't listen to me for that. Absolutely not. There's some things I know nothing about, and that's one of them. I am not. No. I figured that out a while back. Yeah. Single is not. I mean, single is what I'm good at. That married is not something I'm good at. That was not my no.
Well, I'll share something funny with you guys. My husband and I are as opposite can be. So, the first 10 years of our marriage were horrible. Things only started to really get better after about year 15. We're now on year 30. So one of these days we may write a book. And if we do, we've already decided on the title. So the title will be How We Survived 30 plus years of marriage when divorce is not an option and murder is illegal.
That's cute. Well, with that awesome ending, we're all done for today. I'm so glad you shared a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people will benefit from. I really appreciate you coming on, Kim. Thank you.
I love doing these kinds of things.
There's only one other question left, and then I'll let you go. Okay. Every special guest on my show gets to choose what you would like. Would you like caramels, cookies, or brownies? You get your choice. Brownies? Oh, good. Brownies it is then. So I will send those right up. I use, of course, the send out card service, and they have some awesome goodies. So I will send you up some brownies. I appreciate you coming on and spending time with us. And thank you so much. You stay right there for a minute. I'm going to stop the recording, though, okay? Thank you, everybody.
Bye.